try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired that you can't sleep. Stuck in Hey, Drew here from LearnGuitarInLondon.com. I'm playing Fix You by Coldplay, an acoustic rendition, and I'm going to be taking you through how to play all of it. Fantastic song, great song to have in your repertoire, really good campfire strum along sort of song. So this is how we do it. First of all, a capo on the 3rd fret is preferable. Notice I said preferable, we don't have to use it. If you take the capo off, actually, especially if you're a singing guitarist, if your voice isn't too high, I mean I found that quite difficult to hit some of those notes, then if you do it without the capo, it may suit your voice that little bit better. So just something to note if you are thinking about singing it at the same time. But for the purposes of this lesson, we're going to leave the capo on the 3rd fret. Okay? Great, let's do the chords. So, the chords, the first chord is a C. For those of you that don't know an open C chord, you take your index finger, put it on the 1st fret on the B string. You take your middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret on the D string, and you take your ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret on the A string. If you don't know the names of the strings, I use a rhyme. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, so that's E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, and with your C chord, you're strumming the bottom 5 strings. So from the A string down. Okay, make sure that you stay on your fingertips, try not to collapse your fingers like this, and keep your joints locked, never collapsed, okay? Because otherwise you're going to get this sort of noise. Okay? So remember, just keep your fingers arched and press down reasonably hard. That's the first chord. Next chord is an E minor. So I'm going to show you the quickest change, because for anyone who's a beginner out there, changing chords is always the thing that can take the longest. So here's the change from C to E minor. This is C, that's E minor. It's not a big change, or maybe I'll make it look easy, but that's it there, okay? So this is C. What we do to go to E minor is we move this finger up to the A string on the 2nd fret, and then we bring up this finger, we bring it down and tuck underneath on the D string, also on the 2nd fret, and then this we just lift up. So we're holding down the 2nd fret on the A and the D string, and we strum for E minor, very important, we strum all 6. So we've got C, change, E minor. Try to make sure when you change you don't flap your fingers and move your fingers too much, just try to move them as little as possible. Economy of motion. And good, we're then changing to an A minor 7. So from E minor, to go to this A minor 7, we're going to lift up this finger, move middle finger down to the D string on the 2nd fret, and then index is going to come back to where it was with the C chord, which is the 1st fret on the B string. And that's your chord. 2nd fret on the D and 1st fret on the B. And for A minor 7, we strum the bottom 5. So far we've got C, E minor, A minor 7. And then the last chord is a C, but we're adding, it's a G, but we're adding a C note to it, okay? So where were we? We were just doing this from A minor 7. So to change to G, move this finger up. Now I'd like you to follow this way of doing it. If you do G like this, anyone who's already learnt it, this isn't going to help you to learn the song, right? So you've got to do it like this. Move your middle finger up to the 2nd fret on the A string, then ring finger comes over to the 3rd fret on the thickest string, little finger on the bottom string on the 3rd fret, and then index, this is the new note to make it a G add a C, you put your index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. And we strum all 6 strings, okay? So just to recap with that, that's middle finger on the 2nd fret on the A string, ring finger on the 3rd fret on the E string, little finger on the E string, on the bottom E string, on the 3rd fret also, and then finally index on the 1st fret, like you would if you were doing a C. Okay, so notice that 3 of the chords that you need leave that finger held down the whole time. Okay, so we've got our first chord C, E minor, don't need it, A minor 7, it's back, and then this chord G add the C is back again. That's your chords for the intro and the verses. Okay, now all we need to do is talk about the rhythm, so how long you're playing it for on the right hand. Okay, so this is the rhythm that we're using. Now it's a rhythm that can be used a lot with a lot of Coldplay's music, and it's reasonably straightforward if you're a beginner. Okay, that's why a lot of Coldplay songs are actually really good if you're a beginner. So down, 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 up. So for every chord we're going 1 and 2, 3 and. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Down, 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 up. Down, 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 up. Down, 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 up. Okay, so for each chord, that's what we're doing. So we're now going to just play through the chords for the intro and the verse. So starting from C, 3, 4. Repeat. Now, it doesn't matter if on that upstroke you're playing open strings as you do the chord change. It doesn't matter. Just keep your rhythm going and force the changes. Forcing the changes means change to them anyway. Leave this hand being the drummer, keeping the beats the whole time. Okay? If you haven't got the beat, then you're losing 50% of the song. All right? It doesn't matter if the chords are any good or not. If you don't have the right hand, you ain't got it. Okay? Okay. And the one chord change I just forgot to mention, so when we go to this G, add the C, so to go back to the C, because we need to go round in a circle, it's a very easy change. Lift up the little finger and move these fingers down to the A and the D string, so from here to here. Okay, so that's our verses. Great, we do that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 times. We do that with our verse at the beginning. And then, so that's through the chord progression 10 times. The chord progression, if you ever hear that mentioned, it means C, E minor, A minor 7, G, add C. Those chords together are called a progression, so they're going through. And then we're into this chorus. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways to play the chorus depending on your level of ability. If you're a complete beginner, then this is going to be the first way. If you're a little bit more experienced, then we're going to do it another way. So this is the first way. It's all the same rhythm. So it's an F chord, okay? Now an F chord can be played in a number of different ways. This is the first way I'd like to teach you. Take your index finger, put it on the 1st fret on the C, on the B string. Seems familiar, right? Done that a lot. Middle finger on the 2nd fret on the G, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret on the D. So it's like a C chord, but you just fill in the gap. So there's like that. And for this chord, we're just going to strum the bottom 4 strings. Okay. And you just need to be aiming to hit the strings that you're holding down for that to sound right. Okay. It's a little bit harder to avoid the other strings with that chord. So this is the another way that I'd like you to try it. Take this index finger and instead of holding down just the 1 string, press down 2 strings. So the E and the B string, pinch them together. Bring your thumb around the back of the guitar, push, and then put these other fingers back down where they just were. Okay? That's another F chord. That's where you can strum the bottom 4 strings. Good. We then change to a regular G. So it's the same as the chord that we had before, the last chord that we had in the song. So we're going to move these fingers up, so they're on the 2nd fret, on the A, and the 3rd fret on the E, and then we're going to put our little finger down on the G string, on the G string, sorry, it's making a G, but on the E string, and that's... Okay, so they're the chords for the chorus. Lights will guide you home. Now as for the rhythm, it's the same, but for each chord this time we're doing it double the amount. So listen, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Whereas before we were going 1, 2, 3, 4 and change chord. This time we're doing it twice. We then change to a G, okay, do the same thing. Once again, doesn't matter if you hit open strings when you need to change to G. It's not a bad change, you just move these fingers up. We then repeat, F twice, G, F, and when we do G the 3rd time, we strum it and hold it. So that means letting it ring like this. Here the strings are still going. If you go, it's going to lose the atmosphere. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 to fix you, and then we're going to go round back to your C. Okay, so that is the chorus using. There's slightly easier way for an F, but it's a bit harder to be more accurate with the strings. Okay, or there's the slightly more intermediate way of bringing that bar finger down. You have to know F, it's just something that's part and parcel of learning guitar, but it is slightly more intermediate in terms of chords from the other open chords. Okay, good. Now, once we've done this, to fix you, we're going to try this. Now this is actually what Chris Martin's playing on the keyboard. Okay, or it's not a keyboard, I think it's like a Hammond organ in this. And we're going to be picking it on the guitar, just to kind of make things a little bit more interesting. If you do find this too difficult, all you need to do is just go back to strumming. I'd like you to try this because I think this sounds really awesome. Okay, so we take a C chord, alright, which we'll be going back to, and with your plectrum or your thumb, you're going to go A, D, skip to the B string. Okay, we're then going to change to an E chord, and we're going to go E, A, B each time. Okay, so that's the C, this is the E minor. So how the E minor is different is that we don't start on the A string, we start on the E string. Okay. Now this is where your chords should really be sounding nice and smooth, because if you've got any muting it's going to be or muted like that, so keep your fingers held down. Okay, so we've done C, picked E minor, we're then going to do A minor 7, so you should know the chord, and we pick the same strings as we do with the C, so that's A, D, skip to the B string, and then finally G. We can just bring these fingers up this time and just pick top 2 strings and lift up this finger. Okay, so just open B string. So I'll do that again. Oops. A little bit of hesitation there, but that's it. And then we're going to do that twice, okay, so back round in a circle, then you're going to be back to strumming your chords, and high up above and down below. And then you've got another chorus, and then that leads us to the tears stream down your face part. Now, that's going to be in a second part of the video, so to watch that, the second part of the video, it's completely free. It's just over at my website, okay? So to go and watch it, what you need to do is click the link in the video description, and that will take you through to a page that says subscribe to my student area. Subscription to the student area is completely free. All it takes is an email address and your name, that's it. And from there, you then go through to, you then get a password, you go through to the student area. The student area has tablature, has loads of other videos that aren't available on YouTube, and any other part 2s of videos I've made, it's all there and it's all free. And there's all people using it and watching them right now probably. Okay, so if you go there, I'll see you there for part 2, and thank you very much for watching. Take care, bye.